What's up, everybody? How are you? It's been a minute. It's been a minute with the doctor. So we still been here, but things happen, and I'm so glad to have my cousin back. So first and foremost, let me ask my cousin, how you doing, cuz? You good?
I am doing okay here in Washington, D.C. It's a mess, but you know what? We as Black people, we used to this. It's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah, 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 yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
We
good.
we used to a lot of hot mess stuff,
That's
right?
right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So everybody, you see the sponsors on the background in the thing. Uh Deadly Arts of Survival, Row House, Melba's, Chocolate, of course, Row House. Well, I'm co-owner of that, so that's a positive thing. Um, just there's so much going on in this world today. Cause we're gonna get right into it without play. Let me ask you a question. Everybody seems like they're suffering from allergies, or there are different variants out here. Please, we could talk about something if you want to talk about something later, but please elaborate on what's going on with these allergies and stuff like that.
Well, it's funny because some people say, "Oh, I've been here, but it seems like it's getting worse." It is. It's getting worse. And you know what? That's global warming. That's also, um, it's the manufacturers, the different things as we're burning, as you get a lot of the folks who are in the midst of the fires that are in the air, so the air is not clean anymore, and that's simply because the person in charge, he took away lots of the regulations, so people can do anything, the trash as well as the air quality. So,
Okay.
and then of course global warming. So it's worse. There's some medications obviously, but even without medications, you have to do some things that make sense, such as when the ozone, when it's off for the outside, what you have to do is stay indoors. um, get a humidifier, get a what we call a air purifier, saline nasal spray, which is old fashioned. Wear your sunglasses. You can just, not just to be cool, but to be protective, because things, I'm seeing more pink eye and irritated eye because things are blowing in your face. We're down here with the cherry blossoms,
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, everybody's talking about these cherry
and the
blossoms.
cherry blossoms are blooming and aggravating everybody. Okay, sneezing
Yeah.
and wheezing. I've called in more albuterol for inhalers, albuterol for the nebulizers, because people, they just can't breathe. So
Yeah.
my suggestion, number one, cup. So make sure that the sunglasses. You may have to get some eye drops, allergy eye, pink eye, and nasal spray, saline. But there are times you have to see the allergist, and she'll make put you on. He or she may put you on Zyrtec, Claritin, Singulair, and and here's a trick that a lot of people don't even think about. So if you're outdoors, and if your children, of course, are outdoors after being on recess, etc., and they're playing around, right before they go to bed, you can put a bonnet on their head, male or female, doesn't matter. Because when they land on the pillow, everything that's been outside is now on the pillow. And if
Right,
they're
right,
on the
right,
pillow,
right, right.
they may as well be waddling in the grass as they're on that pillow. So,
Yeah.
so if you haven't already done that, then before they go to bed, flip the pillow over. So if it's on the A side, flip it to the B side, because that would be the better side. And then on the third day, new pillowcase. All right. So
Yeah.
that's
Safanya said
basically.
hello, and she says
Hi
she loved
guys.
cherry. She says she loved cherry blossoms. Well, you can
Yeah,
just go ahead and
yeah,
love them, because I,
yeah.
I I don't
But
care about no damn cherry blossoms.
everything you love ain't good for you. Ain't loving you back.
How about that? Let's keep it a buck with that.
They're beautiful. They're all up and down the street. I'm up in Northwest, and oh, they're all colors. They're pink, dark pink, white. They're all there looking at you, aggravating you.
Cuz I think people don't understand. It's like you said, everything that you love ain't good loving you back, and that's a problem because the thing is, hey, like listen, I've seen more people sneezing and coughing and hacking, um,
Oh yeah, oh
with
yeah.
this allergy stuff going on.
Right,
Is
right.
there other? I heard there was new variants out here. Is there something that you could elaborate on that?
It's just stronger. And it depends on how sensitive your lungs are. And if you're a smoker or vapor, hey, you're in trouble. And
Mm.
stop doing it. Obviously, I'm gonna say that. But if you have restrictive lungs, if you have asthma, if you have COPD, all of those things, will make this weather affect you even in a not so good way, in a worse way. So you
Mm.
don't want to have a problem when you're breathing that your chest hurts. So sometimes you have to use a nebulizer. I've had folks use a nebulizer with albuterol. That's the machine for most asthmatics take, but I've had folks put saline in it to help because that humidified air helps you breathe. And of course, if you're in respiratory distress or breathing or tight breathing, please go to the doctors. They will check your oxygen level, your pulse ox, and they'll see what's going on, and then make sure that you're breathing more comfortably. Just don't go to sleep. Get checked for sure, because you might be sleeping and can't wake up.
You know what? You know what I found out. I mean, Malika suffers from allergies, and she's been the dogs playing outside. They come back. She's hawking and spitting and everything. Let me tell you something. How severe are allergies to really the health of the respiratory system aspect?
It's an individualized type of thing, and I say that if it all depends on how vulnerable you are. If you
Understand?
have a tendency, if you have restrictive lungs, sometimes if you have even one of the autoimmune conditions such as lupus, Sjogren's, a few things that makes your lungs not so expandable, then it can be very serious. Okay, and um, and then again, you have to sometimes get trapped so much that you get pneumonia. And you can get pneumonia any time of year. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be winter time.
Okay, I think people need to hear that because some people are probably under the preconceived notion that pneumonia only comes like during fall season or winter season.
No. Pneumonia is mucus in your lungs that be turned into bacteria. So you can get pneumonia 365 days of the year, no matter where
Mm.
you are. So you want to respect your lungs. That's your airway. And you want to make sure, again, as I said, smoking, vaping, in lots of toxic environments where the air is not good quality, try to take away and remove yourself from those conditions. And children, younger the child, they're more wheezing because they can't tolerate the uh, allergies and the things. And I tell folks, don't have the child outside strolling in the stroller. And, you got the kids, the people running with the baby in the stroller. That's like almost, I mean, and there's nothing on their face because it's nice weather. And they come back looking like they've been in the ring with Mike Tyson, eyes all puffed up, red eyes, swollen. And they wonder why the child can't go to sleep because they're sneezing and coughing. So use a little common sense, guys.
Yeah. Um, I think a lot of us tend to keep trying to do what we normally do, but what is it that we shouldn't do? And what I'm asking and what I'm saying is this is like you just referenced stroller, like you pushing your baby, you out here jogging for your own health, but your baby is uh, absorbing all that toxic stuff, whatever out there the thing is. For a person that suffers from allergies, what are the things that we
Right.
shouldn't do?
So most of the time you want to check the weather. But some people body will tell them what the weather is. They start sneezing and wheezing and then before they hear the report of whatever yellow zone, red zone. And be sensitive to it. And for you got to make sure that you know what your baseline breathing is. Some people say, "Oh, I just got a cold," and they're coughing, and they'll take cough medicine, which suppresses the cough. But unfortunately, if they're having mucus plugs and if they can't breathe, they're going to take a cough medicine to stop the cough. Your cough sometimes is your saving grace. If you coughing, that's at least breaking up some of that mucus and breaking up the tightness. So that's your signal. I don't need a cough syrup. I need to see the doctor because I'm having some problems, restrictive airway. So, um, and like I said, using some common sense. And if you don't have to have an air condition. And somebody just said, Nelson just said, the inhalers are tremendously well helpful for COPD. Some people don't know they have COPD, but they have this constant cough. And they
What,
don't have
what
to be they
for
don't
the
have to be wait a minute, they don't have to have a barrel chest and real big and fat and robust. No, you can have COPD um because part of your lung capacity is affected. So get checked. they have a pulse ox, the little thing you put on your finger. Many of you all have that from COVID, from my advice through COVID, so you can see not just your pulse, but your oxygenation. And you should be at least 95. If you look
Understood.
below 95, you're in trouble in terms of
Mm.
airway.
What
Your
is COPD for the people that don't know?
Say again?
What is COPD for the people that don't know? Because a lot of people don't ask questions and they act like they know, but they don't know.
So it's, how should I say? It's your congestive obstructive pulmonary disorder. So you have it's really, the C is for chronic, but I call it congestion because it may just begin. Okay, so chronic obstructive is the O, pulmonary disorder. In other words, your lungs are jacked up a little bit. And what you want to do is help the lining of it. You don't have to have been a smoker, but of course, smoking contributes lots of times to COPD.
Okay.
And you can have an asthmatic. So some people say, well, I sleep apnea. A lot of people who have COPD, they use the machine at night that kind of helps them breathe and take some good deep breaths, because as you are walking around and you have low oxygenation, then you will have what we call constant hypoxia, which is a big word saying on a continuum, you're not getting enough oxygen. So that gives you fatigue, you're sleepy, you're not in a coma, but you're sleepy, you're tired, you can't think clear. And that's because you're not getting enough oxygen. So even before people get the portable oxygen with the little cannula, with the little things that go in your nose, a lot of people understand what's happening and they have to get the nebulizer or the inhaler. The inhaler you can walk around with, take 2 puffs, you're good. But you have to know your body. And I say that all the time. That is your body. That's your only body. You can't trade it in. So you have to pay attention to the warning signs. What it will tell you to do and not to do.
Understood. Everybody, it's Real Talk Chronicles. This is Real Talk with Dr. Marilyn Corder. And if you have any health questions or issues, please write them in and stuff. I see a lot of you in here chiming in. I know you're watching, but you're scared to say something, and that's okay, because a lot of people don't want to divulge what they're going through, especially if you ask a question. You want to say a friend of mine has it, and that's okay. You can use the friend of mine situation right now, but the bottom line is you got a doctor, a well-renowned doctor that will give you her professional opinion from all different aspects, ethnicity, and professional first and not. Shout out to all the sponsors that are watching: Daily Arts Survival, Row House, of course, my restaurant, Melba's Chocolat, Reggie Wells, Quality Speakers. And with that being said, listen, we're out here. The weather is changing rapidly. Let's not even talk about the political aspect of this game. That's a whole nother aspect.
Let's not.
Let's not. We'll pull you in on another thing of that.
Let me also say it.
Go ahead, please.
I don't think people know as much about genetics. And you probably remember, after I did residency in pediatrics, I did another specialty for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that was genetics.
Yes.
And I have now sharpened my tool chest for genetics, because I now part of a lab that's Black owned, let me emphasize, that does testing of things that no other labs do. Not LabCorp, not Quest. And the test is called PXGX Genome. Now, remember, you are your own genetics.
Yes.
And you can have a twin and your genetics can be different. What this lab does is it's not even a blood test, it's a swab. So you don't have to worry about, I got to get my blood drawn. When I say a swab, your cheek swab, and you put it in the kit and you send it off. And it tests. Now, pay attention to this, because I'm going to come back around in terms of my radio show.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who's 60 and above, probably 50% of that group are on at least 1 or 2 medications, just because. Be it diabetes, be it cholesterol,
absolutely,
be it prostate cancer, be it arthritis, be it my goodness, what have I missed? High blood pressure, hypertension, cardiovascular.
And I'm two of those things that you just mentioned.
Okay, so and these are folks walking around looking good. But let me say something to you guys as a physician of 40 some years. all the lab, all the medications that you're on, they've only been tested by white males. They have not been tested on us. We're not doing the clinical trials. So what you're taking is good for a white male, not
Yeah.
for you. Okay. All right. And even though you're right, there is some credence and credibility to your blood type because that's part of you got three blood types or so A, B, and O, and in combination. That's part of some of the guidance. But there's a lab now that's a buccal smear that you send in, and guess what it does? It evaluates you for all the conditions: diabetes, cancer, mental health disorders, all the medications, like there's at least 10 or 20 per more than that per condition. And it will tell you what medications you should never take. It will tell you what medications are okay and what medications are good for you. And then it will
Understood.
tell you what medications you can't blend together. Now, going
Understood.
to the emergency room with a brown bag of medications, I take this, I take this. I can give you example after example, and I'll send you the clip. This one woman was taking 14 medications, which is not unusual. After she got her swab result, down to 2 medications and feeling good. Because what we end up doing, folks, brothers and sisters, we take one medicine, it causes this, and we take another medicine because that medicine causes that, take another medicine. Come on. And I have a good friend of mine who, when I was doing radio, because he kept saying, when are you going to let me come on? He's a lawyer, big time attorney. He was president of the NBA, which is the National Bar Association, all black lawyers, okay, and of color. And he said, Marilyn, when are you going to let me come on your radio show to tell you the number one killer of individuals, especially people of color, are the medications they're taking, especially when they're in the hospital. And I'm like, you know what? Hold on, let me just tell. I said, um, that's true, but I really don't want to talk about that right now. But individually, I talk about it. And on this podcast, I'm talking about it because there's now a test. And
Absolutely. Go ahead, take that. And I'll give some public service announcements. What's up, everybody? This is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Dr. Marilyn Quarter. This is Real Talk Chronicles with the doctor. The doctor is in the building. If you have any medical questions, please ask, because you may not have the time with your primary to ask specific questions in regards to whatever your health issues are, or things that you just want to talk about and converse about. So listen, I come here. I got my cousin with this, and we doing it. She's so humble to help me inform you all of what's going on in the world. Shout out to cousin Kendra in the building. Stefania had a question for you. I'm gonna put it up in the chat right now. Hold on.
the blood type, the blood type. Yeah, I was addressing it. So, Stefania, yes, there are certain foods that O positive, A positive that you shouldn't take, and that's I said that's the beginning of the guidance to how you're eating. Um, and it's not really allergic. It's that those blood types have foods that are not so great for them in terms of how they metabolize and how they break things down. So my thoughts are, as much as you can learn about your body, and part of it is blood type, that's like the tip of the iceberg, but that's not the whole thing. That helps. That really helps. Then if you get testing done, there's MRT blood test. That's kind of expensive. But the lab I'm talking about, if you have Medicare, it's free.
Understood.
If
Understood.
you have Medicare, I can send your kit, it's free. And LabCorp and Quest won't do it. It's free. So, but you got to have Medicare. And I guess the feds are finally paying for it. This is called precision medicine that we of color don't know anything about.
Understood.
We just don't know. We've been left behind.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
You know,
Absolutely.
we've been left behind. So now we can find out much more about our bodies. And because if you give them my email, if they want to email me, I can send them a kit. I don't have to be in their presence. You do it almost like the Cologuard, but it's different. You do it here and you send it. You send your information. If you have Medicare Part A and B, it's no charge. And they're sending
Okay.
you the information. And then you
All right.
take it to your doctor and you say, hey, this is where I get tested. And this coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, a black guy. He's an inventor and a scientist and a PhD. I went down there. They flew me down because I'm a geneticist. I was impressed. I
Oh,
run
really?
labs, etc. And I've been chief of staff at a hospital, been through all the labs. The brother got it going on, and
Really?
he got a patent. So it's just fresh off, and that's why I'm like I'm excited. I've been very busy doing some things, but now I'm saying I am a pediatrician, but first and foremost, I'm a geneticist who's black, who wants us to understand that we're different, and there's some things we can't take, and some
Yeah.
things that are not good for us to take as we mix medications up.
Wow. That's real talk. Let me tell you something. First, let me get your email so I can type it in for
Okay,
people.
okay. It's
What is it?
Dr. dot
DR.
as in doctor, appear behind the R, and then the number 4, and then the word teens, TEENS at
T
yahoo.com.
E E.
Like teenagers, TEENS. Dr. Dot for teens at yahoo.com. I'll make you feel like a teenager when you get the test done and start avoiding stuff that
There
you
you
don't
go.
need to be taking
At yahoo.com, right?
at yahoo.com.
There you go.
And I'm going to be doing some podcasts. I'm going to be doing some Zooms and educational because this is something we need to know. The guy, the Dr. Veal, the one who invented this, he started by doing behavior health. He's a psychologist, and he realized that no matter what your diagnosis, like psychosis, bipolar, etc., everybody, it's not one size fit all. All medications are not good for everybody. So what ended up happening, he saw his patients, they put them on a patient of medicine, and then he's like, this is supposed to work. And then they go worse. So then he's like, wait a minute, something's wrong. So we metabolize differently. So then he spread it out to all medications and partnered with a geneticist, and they rocking and rolling, and it's new. And I want to get it out there to us and for us and by us.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited. I did my test, and it tells me things I should never take. I'm fortunate. I'm knock on wood. I take one medicine, and I, as needed, and that's okay to take that when I saw that. But let's say you have a diagnosis and you can't take this. I mean, they're going to give you this. You have to look and say, I can't take this, doc, but I can take this instead. So it doesn't say, oh, you can't take this at all. It says these are the standard medicines they'll use for lupus. They'll use for cancer. They'll use for behavior health. All the diagnoses are there. You can't take this, it's in the red zone, but you can take this or that. And that's important.
Wow. Everybody, you heard it first. That's Dr. Marilyn Quarter breaking it down, having real talk with you. If you have any questions or comments, please chop it in. Shout out to all the sponsors. This is Real Talk Chronicles. We're here the second Monday of every month. Dr. Marilyn Quarter, it's good to have her back. I apologize for us having our break, but life things happen. Doc, is there anything else you want to talk about, address before any questions come in or something like that?
So, the healthy, okay, yes, I do. I'm in private practice. I'm also hospital staff. I do, like I said, I do a lot of talks and educational seminars. We had a talk yesterday on WETA, which is our public broadcasting station. I was moderating the panel. We talked about perimenopause and menopause.
That's a big thing, menopause, yes.
Well, let me say this. Perimenopause can start as early as 35 years old.
Really? Okay.
And I tell you what, perimenopause, I tell my sisters out there, recognize what's going on, take a deep breath. We laugh about the hot flashes, the private summers, but other things are happening. Not just the fire within. Perimenopause affects from head to toe. And not just your mood, your heart, your kidneys, your metabolism, your joints. People all of a sudden think they have arthritis. It's part of the estrogen progesterone imbalance. So we talked for an hour. And no, we were scheduled to talk for an hour. We talked for 2 hours. And more questions and more questions and more questions, because a lot of doctors don't talk about it. They'll just say they went through the change. And I commented because that one of our aunts, I'm not going to say one of our aunts, my mother said that so she went through the change and went crazy. I'm like, I feel so bad because my uncle divorced her. Okay. And I said nothing else, but I'm like, poor auntie. They just didn't understand her. And one minute you could be crying and screaming, next minute you could be loving. They're not going crazy. It's called perimenopause.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's so we have to understand it. And Black women have it even more severe. And by the time they're diagnosed, they done destroyed, they done lost their job, they done lost their spouse, The kids think they're crazy, all of that. So it's the emotions. We talk about the teenagers. Oh, they're in puberty. They smelling themselves. They acting this and that. Well, we're like that in perimenopause on steroids. We're like terrible twos combined with teenagers, and we don't
Yeah.
know what's going on. We'll cuss you out 1 minute, next minute we're happy. So it's real. So
You know
there
what's
are
so funny? I think
specialists.
next month,
We go,
I think,
yeah,
yeah, I think next month we'll unless something pertinent comes up in blast, I'll have Malika and you do the podcast on menopause.
oh
'Cause
yeah.
there's a lot of people that
And
are
and
suffering from that.
I will have frequently asked questions. What do you do? Do you go on the hormone therapy? Do you go on natural things? Do you just exercise, etc.? What do you do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nelson just put it, but my neighbor Nelson, he can read that.
Yeah, so those medications, Nelson, they help. Sometimes I don't like the Ambien as much. I would rather, if you can, to do the melatonin, to get some sleep gummies, but Ambien is a little bit more needed more in terms of addicting. But the Lexapro, the Valium, yes. And thank you for sharing. Now, what we should do, I don't want you to tell me your age. I want you to email me, because if you have um Medicare, okay. Now people can pay it outright for this land, but if you have Medicare, we can send you a kit. You can fill
Yeah.
it out, and that information to make sure that blend is okay for you. Very good, very good. And
Uh,
there's some medicine that you
yeah,
can.
Nelson, I put the email in the chat. You just have to
Yes.
scroll back. Reed, what's going on, Reed?
Well, you know what? Yes, Reed, and your 80% of women don't know they're in perimenopause at the time. But the anxiety, the brain fog, some people don't even know their name. You ask them a question, they like, what? So it's terrifying. But we got to talk about it. We need to acknowledge it, and we need to talk about it, and we need to embrace it. Not like, oh, coworkers, you know when your coworker is in menopause. We had this discussion yesterday, and two people who work together, after hearing we had a psychologist, we had an endocrinologist, we had a OBGYN, and of course me. And by the time we finished, they looked at each other and said, well, that's what's wrong with Miss King. Who's their employee, who's their boss. And, you know, if you support it, and at least have them understand, because it is a condition. Perimenopause, you're still cycling, you're still having your menstrual, but you just feel like, I want to fight. And then, or you feel
Yeah.
like, you kind of get paranoid, like, you know did he really, is he cheating on me, or is she cheating on, well, is he cheating on me? And then the poor men, we have men in the audience, they're like, whoa, I didn't understand, I didn't know. And they need to know, and the family unit needs to be aware of what's going on. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I can see that menopause is a very big topic, especially of women of color or just women in general. At talking about what is it? Like you said, some people could start at 35, but especially if you're in that 40s to 50s, like when
So look, so get started at 35, okay? And by the time you're 50, 55, you're probably no longer cycling. That's menopause. But perimenopause can do several things. Your cycle can be extra long, your cycle can be shorter, and then by the time it pauses in terms of menstrual, that's your menopause. But prior to that, perimenopause can be devastating. And you'll appreciate this, because when you see women in jail, they're at least in menopause, because they're impulsive, they're emotional. All right, they done beat the child down. CFSA is calling because they done
yeah,
went to the school and beat the mess out of the kid. Okay, or the husband.
absolutely.
Okay, or stabbing somebody, or beating. I want to say another word, but beating the mess out of them. So
Hmm.
you can tell. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, cousin Kendra added cursing. Where are you?
Yes. So, Kendra, the test. Matter of fact, I thought I had it right here. It's called PGX. And you're right here. So we're going to talk about it. Email me, because I have them at the office. And you're not of age to be Medicare, so it won't be free to you. But folks,
Yeah.
and we know folks, including myself, I got tested. It's amazing. And what I'm going to be doing is going into the nursing homes, going to senior citizens where they play bingo, etc., and tell them, look, have you gotten tested? And like I said, for the first time, we're talking something free. No matter what, it's Medicare. So the feds are finally paying for it. I hope for a while. Right now they are. And you only have to get the test one time. And they email you the results. And I don't mind going over anybody who I referred to the testing, still free of charge. I will go over it with you.
There you go. See, that's a real one. Dr. Corder is in the building, baby. This is Real Talk Chronicles. Let me share what Nelson says.
Excellent. It is. It's stress that is generational. And even in utero, when you are pregnant, if you've gone through that generational stress, etc., it affects the baby as they come out. And that's why, it's interesting. We have this thing about blacks, that babies, survivors, especially black females, they're premature. If there's a mother coming into labor and they would tell me, the 31 weeker, or the child that's only like 6 months or 7 months, I find out, I say, is it a girl or boy? And they say it's a black kid, it's a boy, it's a girl. Then I'm like, okay, she'll make it. Now, in general, all black people should have mental therapy. They should. And we need to take the stigma out of it. We got, a lot of folks are doing drugs, drinking, alcoholism, because they're trying to mask their pain and their hurt. And we can get in front of that. We, on the panel yesterday, had a behavior health, a psychologist, and she talked about, the most professional people you least would suspect, behind doors are crying out and in pain, mental pain. And that's now part of our total health, not just the physical health. What's your blood pressure? What's your glucose? What's your A1C? What's your diabetes and the like, cholesterol, but also how's your behavior health? And that's part of your history. If you feel like killing somebody, or you feel that angry, and you feel lonely, and you're sad, because people are killing themselves. They talk about just folks in the military high rate, but we're talking about during this time now, where folks are losing their money, and they're like shooting up everybody, themselves and their family. They can't take it.
And that's a whole nother topic, that PTSD. Shout out to Dana Richardson. She says, hello, good evening, Uncle and everyone. Kendra says, thank you. I just want to show this. Ree says, what does Ree say? She said, there you go.
There is, I know. I'm so sick of these viruses going around. I'm like, I'm sick of the viruses, and I'm sick of measles. I'm just getting sick. And I'm like, and my patients are getting sick. And I'm telling them, when they have a newborn, I tell them, blame it on your fanatical pediatrician. Don't let anybody come over to your house and kissing up on the baby and coughing and having fever blisters, etc. Tell them wave and put a mask on them. Tell them wave them outside. But so much is going around. There is a strand, and it's a Rona strand, one of the Rona strands that's around, and we're still testing people. The regular COVID will pick it up as a positive. And if they're in school, daycare especially, it's going around. So I still have my mask. I go into the rooms because I hear the patients coughing, and I put my little mask on, because I'm of age. I'm that Medicare
Absolutely.
Okay? And I need to be healthy. I want to be healthy, for not just my patients, for me and my family. So it's going around. So hand washing is good. Covering your mouth when you sneeze and etc. So yes, and more, yes, there she goes. More and more people wearing a mask. I was on a flight. I was coming from Houston Saturday, in the airport, and you don't know who's sitting next to you, so put your mask on, okay? Because people get the coughing, and it's close quarters.
Yeah. Because a cough, if you cough in my face, it might get you slapped. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, that's my part.
Your grandma, your aunt, my mother.
Oh my God, Aunt Doris.
If she was in an elevator and somebody coughed, she give them that look, and she do her hand. I mean, she literally, turning her head.
Yeah, shout out to my Aunt Doris. As they say in the streets, she was a real one. She was a real one.
And as I get older, I know.
She was a real one. Stefania has a question for you.
So yes, so Dr. C, just about every day on the news, I know I'm seeing reports of men killing their girlfriends and wives. There was a woman running for mayor down in Florida. She was a delegate and she's running for mayor. Is there something pathological going on? You think? Um, yeah, and what ends up happening, it is undiagnosed. And sometimes the nicest of men, sorry, Billy, the nicest of men, they're like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So they
Absolutely.
really nice and they kind of not, that you might want to peek behind the curtain on that one
Yeah.
because
I think we might have to bring our other cousin in on this on
right,
Dr. Selma
right,
on the psychological aspect of certain things like that too. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
And that rage. And then what happens, Stefania, they're not getting help. They may have a job that's high performance, stress, and they're just quick, a short fuse. So you're right. We're seeing lots of it. I don't know. I'm going to say increase because of all that's going around. And then, of course, you see all this perfect relationships on with TikTok and social media. And you might say, well, mine not, and why I'm with her, or why am I with him? And it just adds up. And there's no mental health counseling is important individually, couples, therapy individually, and I'm just, I even warned my daughter. She
Yeah.
finally got out of a relationship
Yeah.
that I didn't like anyway. But who am I?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who am I? But she's with a really nice young man who's known her since high school, and he
Yeah.
does anything. And I mean, and I saw that years ago. But people have to experience it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the other one, I didn't want to have to get my passport game up. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to have to.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-mm. You don't abuse physically, not physically, but emotionally. But it would have been physical.
Yeah,
As,
yeah, and that then that's I ain't
I
Liam
know.
I ain't Liam Nielsen, but I got a good game. Now,
Okay. So do I. Okay.
yeah, oh, absolutely, especially for
And
your
I can
own,
say I'm
especially,
perimenopausal and all that.
especially for your
Postmenopausal.
own. Absolutely. Shout out to my little cuz. I love you. I hope everything is good over there in Ghana. And shout out to Nelson said something. He said a lot is learned behavior.
Yes, it is. And matter of fact, some people don't know how to be parents or how to have a relationship because they saw toxic relationships. And I think that we should start in middle school how to respect each other's differences, how to respect and listen, um, and be tolerant. They have some programs through different groups, 100 Black Men, the Divine Nine, and we need to do more and more of that. And we need to get back to the village.
Yes.
Everybody's into their own world and don't talk to my child. But if you see them acting up or they might jack up, I have teenage patients who I see when they come in and they may have a bruise here or there, with where the boyfriend and jack them up and pinch, hurt them. And they're like, well, he still loves me. That's love? I don't think so. I don't think so.
No,
But
that's not love.
that's what Nelson, that's what she sees. She
Yeah,
lets her mom.
let us understand that whole when your kids hitting on each other, talking about, yeah, that's learned behavior, or talking about that's the beginning of domestic violence, hitting on each other, talking about, oh, I like him. Don't like me, don't hit me, get off me, leave me alone.
Right.
You like me, buy me if I'm with kids, you like me, buy me an ice cream. That's
Right.
on
And
my
look,
face.
and right. And he's sorry. Well, you know what? He's sorry out of that. You need to be he's sorry out of the relationship with you.
Yeah, how about that? That part right there. Exactly. Exactly. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. That's Dr. Marilyn Corder, my co-host. I am Bill Forster. This is Real Talk Chronicles. If you have questions, anything, we are on the upswing. We got 15 minutes left. If you have any questions for the doctor, please chime in and say something. Don't be shy. Don't take those questions with you someplace else, and then you not get an answer. They're talking about, damn, I should have chimed in, because I know a lot of you hit me up later. Oh, yo, I love this show, but I didn't say anything. That's on you. That's not on me. Listen, I'm giving you something. This doctor is world renowned. You can Google her. She is giving you information because of me. I love her for that. Listen, that's family. Our family is known for writing and typing and stuff like that. That's an inside joke. Listen, anybody if you know our family, we can write a thesis or a letter or something in a minute. But this part right here, this generation, we we giving back. So if you have any questions and comments, please. I put her email in earlier. You can scroll back and get it. I'm not going to do it again because I'm not built for that right now. I'm just a little different. You know what I'm saying? But anything, please ask, comment, question.
So everybody, so there in Philly, the president of Ghana was there last weekend.
Oh, really?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And he's allowing folks, I call it the diaspora, going to Ghana. That's an experience. If you've never gone and you want to go, hit me up. I've gone. I know how you can get there. My daughter does travel, and this is not a plug for her. This is real.
No, you can plug her. This is our show. This is our show.
She's doing the HBCUs. She did Howard alumni. She did Howard Docs. She does folks, her sorority. But once you've been there, your life is very different. You got a whole different attitude in a positive way.
Yo, give me your email again, Doc.
DR as in doctor. Everybody, so it's DR and then a period behind the R, and then the number 4, then the word TEENS at yahoo.com. Dr.for-teens@yahoo.com. And when you email me, just tell me that you heard.
Real talk. We got to mention real talk. Otherwise, you're not going nowhere. You might go into spam.
Right. And I'm going to come up to the row house because we'll talk about the lab, because anybody, well, like I said, you can pay if you're not of age, the Medicare. How about that, being of age? But we will get those for folks because I'm part of the National Medical Association. I am the president of the Prince George's chapter. National Medical Association, better known as the NMA, is the largest group of Black physicians of the whole United States. We have like 72,000, and we do what we do. And I say that we educate. Many specialties are everywhere. We are everywhere, but it's not enough of us, and we're getting less and less admissions to medical schools, and the like. So
listen, let me tell you what I'll do. You let me know. I have an underbar downstairs, and if you want to come at the row house, if you want to come and do like maybe an hour or 2 session right there,
and I'll educate as well.
Right. And we'll make it happen right there.
And it's not a scam. And what I'll do, because I'm going to send you information, I'll send you a news clip because it's big, and I love it because it's invented by a Black man. Medicine, we are the originator of medicine.
Yes, absolutely.
Not just because of Cobb, etc. We go way back. Okay, in terms of the first doctor was a Black man.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so we know how to create and invent.
Absolutely. Everybody, that's Real Talk Chronicles. That's Dr. Marilyn Quarter. I am Bill Forster. That is my cousin.
Welcome, Angie.
Angie giving it up. Shout out to DJ Tall Guy, well-known tri-state DJ, chiming in for us.
All right.
People, if you got questions, ask us. Let me tell you something. For those that don't, I'm going to bring something. I got inflammation in my knee. I've had 2 surgeries in my knee. Let me just be transparent. I had spine surgery a long time ago, and my she went big cuz she owned her rights, and she told me, she said, yo, if you ever have some extensive surgery like that, you better reach out to me. And let me tell you something. I've been, and anybody that knows me, I ain't scared of shit, but I was in a little, she had me a little shook because I ain't never seen nobody put me in check like that, and I enjoyed it since my mother passed away. So I appreciate that. So since then, right now, I'm being transparent. For information in the knee, I got arthritic knees. The doctor told me right now they don't want to give me, because of my time span, I can't have another cortisone shot because of 3 months. I got to wait till the 3 months. And so what do people should take? They told me to take Advil. Is that something that you think is good for inflammation?
Advil is an anti-inflammatory, which is ibuprofen. It's an anti-inflammatory, and you hear me all the time talking about don't take too much of that. It will tear up your stomach. If you take it, make sure you're not taking it on an empty stomach.
Hmm.
Okay. And you're probably taking 400 milligrams. And I
Yes.
say that because, it will take the pain away, but it has consequences of taking it long term. Um, you can get some pain rubs, etc. But uh, spray some magnesium on it. There's certain things, and we'll talk, that will help than always taking Advil. But Advil, it works, it works, it works. But let that be not all the time taking it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, you're welcome. Okay, I got some good questions in here coming in here. And on the next one, I'll let Malika take care of that next time.
Yes, but you know, we talked yesterday when I did the documentary. First of all, it's very important that we talk about mental therapy and a life coach. My son is a life coach, and he done coach more people, young people, out of the stress and now his clients, his patients are in college and in leaderships, etc. It's so important because after a while, stress can make you feel helpless, can drain you, um, and you don't want to engage, and you just lose out. And sometimes you take your life, and you take other people's lives, and you go
Yeah.
and start shooting people. Um, so it is truly important because it's part of your health, and you have to recognize it. So that's the other thing. People don't recognize when they're young, with their kids or even their friends are out of it. Ask them, when you ask them how they doing, say, for real, how you doing? And they're like,
Absolutely.
man, there's a whole lot. But you have to make sure you're sincere and that you really are ready to hear. There's one thing you can say, oh, hey man, what's going on now? And say, how you doing? Because they can have some heavy information, and you got to be ready to receive it as well as to help them.
Yeah. That's what's up. Uh, DJ Toe said, thanks, Bill. Um,
We had a case yesterday. I see the question. Um, we had a case yesterday. Well,
so,
no,
so, so
it
hold
was
on, cuz let me just say this. Stevan, listen, that's 2 months, unless the doc wants to do a special edition. When I don't put pressure on my cuz. So the bottom line is next month we're gonna do what we just talked about,
perimenopause.
menopause. Menopause.
But that's women's health. So, Stefan, I'll do a little of that as well.
And
Okay.
then in the following month, well, she'll exist with that, and I'll have Malika host that on fibroids, because I think that's a topic that, even though I can host it, I'm so talented at what I do, but I think it's just a conversation. That's some Forster shit. I just think it's something.
I'm the fibroid queen. I had 2 surgeries and then some. Black women, that's called a fertile.
So I definitely think that is something. So we'll do 2 months of that, and we'll make sure that that'll be a topic that I will blast it out to all the women if it's in fibroids, because especially at certain ages, they come in fast and furious, and we need to talk about them. And especially, like you said, Doc, as a woman of color, and
too, yeah.
exactly, and that's a big thing that people don't even know. That's hereditary. What was the next question? Let's see. Okay, wait a minute, hold on. There she go. My sister Ree said,
Yeah. Food recall, medication recall. We also need to talk about, and I said this 25 years ago when they came out with Depo, when they came out with the patch. These young girls are destroying their bodies instead of taking once a day a pill or using a condom and being responsible. And you're right, Reed. It can be FDA approved. It's called FDA Kill You. Yep. So, um, and now they've cut back on the regulations and the testing because of who's in the administration, who's in charge. So I go holistic as much as I can. And I know years ago we were growing up, we didn't have these commercials about ask your doctor about this, ask your doctor about that,
no,
and
we
all
didn't.
those ask your doctor. Uh, then they'll tell you real low it can cause, and all down to death. Yep. Don't
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so DJ Tall Guy said something about my hip not
He's
doing.
not doing artificial hip. Go ahead. Well, email me, DJ Tom, because this. I tell you, I can. As my cousin would say, I'll tell you about CBD. I'll tell you about
Yeah, talk about it, sis. Talk about it,
supplements
cuz. Talk about it.
because your doctor's not going to tell you that. First of all, they don't know. Second of all, they're like, oh no, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm only going to talk about FDA. But again, Depo was FDA approved, and now it caused death as well as it caused brain tumors. And I knew it. I said, why are you going to shoot somebody with a 30, 30 days or 3 months of medication in your body? That's not regulating. That's toxic. And some of these girls, they ain't not having sex that often. But it's like, why are you going to kill yourself? Is sex worth dying for? My
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah, yeah. My man Kurt. Okay, he said holistic is the way to go. Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Vitamin D. I know years ago, especially my husband's people from Mississippi, Detroit, Mississippi, when they eating their bone broth,
And the marrow out the
and
bone
the
and
marrow
shit.
out of the bone, I was like, oh my Lord, is you hungry? But you know what? It helps. It's better than
Yeah,
steroids.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we need to go back to some. Oh, I'm doing my garden now. I'm gonna have
You
about
doing your garden, cuz? You doing the garden?
yeah. I have to show you a video of we out there gardening, and in another 30 days we're gonna have everything we can ever grow to the grocery store, from tomatoes to
Listen.
melons to okra to cabbage to lettuce, all of it. Brussels sprouts, we're gonna have it.
Oh my God. Listen. Yeah, I can't invite you all out there, but I'll show a picture the next time I'm there. My man Kurt said, "Hey Bill, take one of my gummies."
Come and get
I'm
that's
not,
like
I'm
come
not
and get
doing
a
that
bag.
gummy shit. I'm not doing that. I said, I love you, Kurt. You my man. I missed you Saturday, but listen, I can't do the gummy thing because I'll start dotting T's and crossing I's. You know what I'm
But you
saying? So
know
I
what?
don't want to do
Right.
that.
Speaking of gummies, I got gummies here. He's right. I got the sleep gummies, etc. It's all good. So go
All
ahead,
right,
Kurt.
all right.
I
Maybe
got
I might try one because of you, just because you the big cuz. I might
right.
do that.
I
So
got
listen.
gummies to help you sleep. I got it. Okay. And it's not addicting.
Hold on, let me see what else people got to say in here. What's up, Malcolm? My brother. Go ahead. My brother, go ahead. That's Reed's husband. Go ahead. What you
I
say?
get started on my left. Oh yeah, African. So again, when you take that, that's what we call a high dose of ibuprofen, the naproxen. That's prescription. It takes away the inflammation temporarily, but it's not taking away the actual. It's not healing it. It gives you tolerance. Um, email me. Make sure they email me. I can give them some information.
Yeah, yo, brother Mal, email Doc. I put it in there.
And aquatics. This is old school swimming as well as Epsom salt. And I
That's
will
real
send
old school Epsom salt. Yeah,
right. So I will send him the page along. I'll give him some information. Okay.
yeah. Shout out to Angie. What's up, Angie? How you feel, sis? She says, yeah, CBD works. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right. It does.
Cuz do you still have that website that you did before? Or no?
Wait a minute. I may have it. I may have
All
it.
right.
I may have it. One more time. Let me.
Yeah.
We may go a little over. Let me just see.
No, it's all good. It's just
Right.
yeah.
Because I'm telling you, I have prevented folks from having. Here we go.
Yes.
From having unnecessary surgery.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. My mother-in-law lives by it. She was like, "Girl, reach out to your cousin." I was like,
Right.
"Oh," I was like,
Right.
"Yeah." She loved it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can do this. But text me. I mean, when I say that, I can. I don't know. I don't know this code. I mean, I don't know if you can scan it from that. But
Yeah.
but look, you got. I think you have to be in front of it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's her email. That's her email. Well, yo, tour
So
guide.
listen. I don't have
Tour
the.
guide. Hold on. Tour guide. Email my cousin. She's not gonna email you.
Right.
What are you talking about? Let's get. Come on now. Stop playing with me. Don't play with my
Just
emotions.
email me and let me know what you need, and I'll send you the website.
Yeah.
So this is going to be very informative because I'm telling you, your doctor's they're not going to know. They're going to be retiring. They, and everybody's running for the hills. Insurance don't want to pay for anything.
Nah.
Turmeric is good. Turmeric is good. Okay. And that helps. Very much so. Yep.
Kurt says THC works too. Kurt, you're a hot mess, bro. You're my man.
And you know what? But he's right. But you know, I can't prescribe that.
Yeah,
Y'all see me on the news with my hands behind me.
Yeah. Listen, I ain't Liam Neeson, but I'll come and get you though. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
He's right.
Let's see. I'm going to email her. Thank you. Yep. Email my cousin. Exactly. I put an email in. All you got to do is mention Real Talk Chronicles. Email her.
And I check my emails once a day. A lot come in, so I will respond. Give me a day or two.
Yeah, just give her some chance. Don't pressure her. If she tell me somebody came a little hard, then I'll respond to that email. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. That's Dr. Marilyn Quarter. We are on the hour. This is Jax right here. He is chiming in. You have anything you want to say or bark about? Listen, Doc, anything? Give us some positive affirmation before you get out of here. Anything you want to give?
Let's begin to make a pledge to ourselves that our bodies is worth more than all this other mess, and we need to respect it. We only have one body, and we can extend our quality of life and our life by going holistic and using common sense. And I'm here for you.
Absolutely. Everybody, that's Dr. Marilyn Quarter. This is Real Talk Chronicles. This is a segment. She will be back next month. Of course, you know, she's here. She's probably the only one that we hold each other to an hour segment. She will be back talking about menopause. And the following month, she will be back to talking about fibroids. First and foremost, everybody, menopause is something. If you're in a relationship or you're dating somebody and they have menopause or they're going through menopause, you need to be aware of that. So men, don't be shy and act like you don't want to be a part of that conversation, because trust me, those emotions might affect your relationship. When we talk about fibroids, that's a whole nother entity. You need to be here and understand that kind of conversation too. Everybody listen. Malika is doing AI. For those that don't know, Malika is an AI consultant right now. AI is the way to go. A lot of us don't understand what AI really is. Chime in with her. She's here the first and the third of the month. The second Monday of the month, you got Dr. Marilyn Quarter. The fourth, Lenny Green and I, we're talking relationships. I'm married now, but I still can hold this panel down. Anybody that wants to be a part of that kind of conversation, if you're single or you're dating, come on. I was Kevin Samuels before Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Everybody after that. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody has something to say. Wait a minute. Ree says something. Stefania says something. She says, and thank you for your great show. She missed you. Yeah. You know, she also says, what did she say?
I'm coming to New York. I'm going to come. Oh, yeah. CBD helps Crohn's. Oh, we need to talk. Well, who email me?
That's Stefania. That's your girl.
I have a patient who resolved. They had him on methotrexate, which is a chemotherapy, but that's what Crohn's, they treat that. I put him on CBD drops. And
Reese said it's always a pleasure to meet you.
Oh,
exactly. I'm gonna get up to New York, and then we're gonna do something down in the Underbar Row House. We're gonna have a panel. We're gonna have a Real Talk panel, and we're gonna you can come there and face and ask Dr. Quarter her questions and stuff like that for an hour. Don't stress my cousin out. I love you, cuz. I'll talk to you sidebar. Everybody, that's Dr. Marilyn Quarter. Check her out. Follow her. Are you doing any radio stuff right now? Or you just?
Well, I'm not doing radio stuff. I'm doing TV, local TV. I'm fighting this new hospital that's killing people. So I'm gonna send you some of the things that I've been doing. I'll send you some clips. You're gonna say, "Oh, I do need a bodyguard," because I'm challenging everybody.
Well, yeah. Well, bring me in. You know, I'm all about that smoke.
But
yeah. And it's emotional and personal. So I got it.
Right.
All right. I love you, cuz. Thank you, everybody. Everybody that's Real Talk Chronicles. We out here. Foster the moment with positive vibes only. Peace.
All right. Take care.
There you go.
Bye-bye.